Hi, Filemon.
Hey, what's up,
What's up?
Nathan?
Cool. How you doing?
Easy, easy.
Yeah. I mean, it took a while to get you on the show.
Yeah, I don't know. It's not that difficult. I'm
Yeah,
on the
yeah.
ground. I'm on the ground. But
Is it?
yeah, it's
Yeah,
a good thing that we're here on
yeah,
this beautiful day.
mhm,
It's really a beautiful day, man.
yeah,
Lovely spot, by the way.
yeah. No, I mean, it's a cool spot. I mean, upstairs and everything.
Yeah.
Okay, so what we did is we had sort of like a survey where
Yeah.
we ask who the young audience would want to have, and your name came up a few times.
Ooh, that's
Yeah,
really cool.
yeah.
Oh, there's
So
a
they,
survey, so they asked me
yeah,
to
yeah,
be
yeah.
here.
So
Okay,
they
cool.
asked for you to be.
Thank you, my people.
Yeah. So I wanted to start with your backstory,
Yeah.
but the thing is, one thing I've noticed is most of the time when we try and learn things, it's
Yeah.
like everything happens in. We're basically trying to find out patterns in things. It's
Okay.
like learning. It's like if someone walked this road before,
Mhm.
then you want to know, okay, what steps did he take? What hurdles did this person jump
Yeah.
over, and stuff like that. And like if you're in the field of innovation
Yeah.
or entrepreneurship, there's really not a manual per se, you know.
Yeah.
So there's like some people would say you can do like business school or you can have a course in entrepreneurship, for instance. But the thing is that usually works, obviously. But what I've discovered, it's like most people say when you would get to use those skills is when you have something afloat already. You know, you did all the hard work,
Yeah.
and this is just for you to know how to do your tax returns and all those boring
Oh,
stuff.
when do they teach you how to
Right?
do tax returns?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what most people seem to be interested in is like inspiration, and that usually comes through stories. Like
Okay.
you want
Okay.
to know, okay, someone did this, how did he do it?
Yeah.
So you can relate it to to yourself, basically.
Okay.
Yeah. So I want to start with like dissecting your story first.
Okay. Cool.
Like what got you into the tech space? Let's start there.
Okay. So this is we've got time, right?
Yeah, for
Okay,
sure.
cool. Perfect.
Yeah.
I've always actually liked tech. Even when I was younger, I schooled at Emma Workgenoot.
Yeah.
Grade 1 till 7. We were one of the lucky schools to have like computer studies, Sunny, at Emma Workgenoot, Auckland Park.
Yeah.
I think my interest came when, so since they had computer lessons there, they had a computer class going on there. It struck my attention because the internet was just coming out at those times and things were being done.
Yeah.
Cartoon Network HQ.net was being advertised heavy. So whatever opportunity you get in the computer room, you're always looking to see what you can do with these computers. But then interesting websites like Napster and Waptrick, those things are really, really popular. That's where you'd go and download your music and your images. And then I saw like, I gave it some thought and I was really thinking like, where did this love for tech come? And it didn't only come later on, actually. It came at those times when the internet it didn't just come out, but Namibia was just using it. And then I downloaded one of those Wapchick things, or I was using it. And then I said, okay, how about I create my own account? And at that point already, I was figuring out how to sell like normal images. I remember the image. It was TI with a chain or something. And he had a baseball bat. It was dressed in something black. And I wanted to sell that image on this platform. Obviously, I didn't get too far because there were no payment gateways and these funny, interesting things. So that's when it started. And I had friends like Nigel who had like a computer. I didn't have a computer or a lappy. I was just waiting until I finally got one. Life catches up with you and you start thinking that other stuff is cool, like drinking, partying, and all of these things. So that distracted me a little bit. But then when I finally finished with college, I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I wanted to do music, so I dove into sound technology and engineering, or sound technology and production.
That was after high school.
That was after high school. But I had many gap years. Like I finished high school at the regular age, 18. I turned 18 that year of October. And then the year after that, I tried to go to UNAM for like HR or what was it? It was HR management. And next thing I went to UNAM. I tried NUST, HR management. Then I went to UNAM for financial engineering. I dropped out from both. That was the same year. Yeah. And then the year after that, I turned 19. And that's when I went to the coast. And I think I was a bank teller at Bank Windhoek in Bafus Bay.
First job?
Yeah, that was my second job. I had holiday jobs while I was growing up.
Yeah.
I was forced to get holiday jobs because I needed money, you know. So when I turned 19, that's when I was in Balfour's Bay. Oh no, 19 was the year of me trying to find out exactly what it is I'm willing to study. But no matter how much I forced myself to study that stuff, I just couldn't do it.
Yeah.
So then, 20 was a year where I was in Windhoek. It was a gap year now, fully, no work. I was here with a bunch of friends and I was really just trying to find myself out, I had a bunch of arguments with my mom this year, actually, because this is at the point where she was starting to get frustrated and just really wanted to know, what is it that you want to do, dog? And a lot of my friends were going down to SA and I was to Cape Town or Pretoria or something, or just doing something with their lives.
Yeah.
And I found this place called Varsity College and I was just telling my mom, yo, just put me in for anything, they'll accept me. I don't want to go back to school to go and redo those points of physics because I don't even like that stuff. But let me at least go to Varsity College and I'll do this BCom degree that they want me to do. She said, you suck at accounting. I'm not allowing you to do that. You'll waste my money.
Okay.
I said, all right, no problem.
Yeah.
But then she kept on still pumping, find what you want to do. Please tell me what you want to do. And then I finally had the guts to tell her, I want to do sound engineering and technology. Now, it was very, very important, 21, 22, 23. Those years of mine, I was in Cape Town. I think there was another level of focus because my first year I also heard or found out that I'm going to be a dad.
Okay.
So as I got into Cape Town, I got the news in February or so that, hey,
ouch,
I'm going to be a dad, So I got that information too. So it was a little bit of a dark period that I was facing in the first year. But year 2 and year 3 was very clear for me that I understood that sound engineering was just a bit of what I was interested in.
Yeah.
Because music I'm interested in 100% and it's a big part of what I do. But I wanted to make a change, a bigger change than just music. I didn't know what it was yet, but I knew that I wanted more out of life. So I did a whole lot of YouTube searches on mentors. I searched up, I didn't know them per name or by name per se. What you do first is you see those funny YouTube ads. Your YouTube algorithm will work for you if you're looking for some sort of, I think it starts off with TEDx videos. That's what really gets you interested in that stuff. So I watched the TEDx videos and they were like pushing me that side. And then I started seeing like Ty Lopez videos coming into my algorithm, Patrick Bet-David videos coming into my algorithm. And at that point, I made the decision to like, okay, when I get back to NAM, sound engineering is cool and all, but I'm not trying to be a radio DJ or like a radio presenter. Not that there's anything wrong with it. It's just, it wasn't what I was, hustling for. I also didn't think that starting a radio station or anything like that was going to be worth the time or would fulfill what I'm craving.
Yeah.
So I chose real estate to jump into because I thought that, when you're young, when you're looking for something successful, it's what makes the most amount of bag.
Yeah.
I have a sound engineering degree and I know I only need a real estate license to get this bag. I'm going back home. I'm getting this real estate license and I'm going to go and get the bag, sell the houses. A house, I just need, real estate agents, let's say 5% on an M. Okay, 10% would be 100K, 5%, 50K. For selling $1 million house, that's a house in Tura. You'll be able to.
Quick and easy.
It's what it sounds like. But then, so then I got back to Namibia. This was when I turned 23. So that was the year I was turning 24. That's 2018. First year of January 2018. As soon as I touched down, I got that real estate license book. I started studying it already. And then at the same time, I also applied to go and work at DB Audio. It was, they're still open now, I believe, DB Audio. Yeah. They were the main sound guys. They'd set up stage, decks, all of these. They'll do crazy stuff. I really liked what DB Audio did. They opened up my mind a little bit when it comes to the technology side of sound. It's really crazy. The tech side of sound is wild. I think that's an unexplored area.
How did you get to work there? Did you send a CV or something?
To DB Audio?
Yeah.
Yeah, I sent the CV. I don't think they were looking for people. Okay. But I hollered at them anyways and said, I'm looking for a job. Let me just come through and work. That was my thing, like that, what the mentors were saying was when you find your spot, don't wait for a vacancy. Just go there and say you're looking for a job, whatever it may be.
So they're actually cool. They were like, come over.
Yeah, they said that they'll be hosting a test or something like that. They were looking for a junior sound tech. Oh, nice. So that was interesting for me. But then I joined it. We did all of this stuff. I worked there for like 3 months.
Okay.
We did a tour. It was called Mwenyo Paleka. It's an O&L tour where you start like in Windhoek and then you go to the different cities in the country. So I got to explore Namibia.
Nice.
You go to the different cities in the country, and then you set up these shows so that ONL is able to appreciate their staff. Mwenyo Paleka means revitalize, I believe. So it's just basically revitalizing the staff around the country. It's a great initiative.
Yeah.
But the hours were horrible, bro. Like imagine.
It wasn't your normal
For me.
9 to 5.
Yeah, it wasn't. That wasn't a 9 to 5.
Yeah.
That could have. Sometimes it's a 9 to 12, not the close 12, the far 12. I'll explain why. Where I really saw that I had enough was Low and them, the guys who run Loft now. They had an event at that zoo park. It was a winter event. I just forgot what it was called. That morning we had to go and we had to set up that morning 6 a.m. or so. We're set up all of the lights, the scaffolding, all of these interesting things. You set them up, the screens, the speakers, the cabling. How fun! And then you stay there. And okay, so you set it up. 9 o'clock, the event begins. The event begins. It runs all the way until 12 o'clock midnight. 12 o'clock midnight is when the show stops, and that's when everyone goes home to go and sleep. That's when our job starts
That's
again.
when you have to.
And then we start now packing up everything, scaffolding, all of the screens, and you're making all of your stories there, or 4 a.m., 3 a.m., 4 a.m. in the morning, about, I'm just going to get back home now. I just need a shower, because now you're picking up cables in winter. 4 a.m. I got back home. That's when I think it was just too much for me. I said, these hours are ridiculous. I have my real estate license now because I studied for it January, February. I went for March was the test or something. As soon as I got the results from the real estate license, I put in my resignation at the DB Audio. I didn't even have a plan. I just, hey, I'm not working here anymore. Hey, what are you gonna go and do? I don't know, but I'm not scared. A little bit. I was a little bit concerned about what the next steps are. But then that's when I went to go and work at Harmsman Group. It was this lady called Stina Wu. She owns the Marigold Hotel, and she was currently, or at the time, she was running a mass housing project in Karibib, Shakati, Ehenye and Ekuku, and also in Rundu, Kaisosi. So
with these guys, you did the same thing. You just reached out to them.
Yeah, so when it came to Stina, that was an interesting one. This is now where, the power of network also comes into play. My mom is, she works at customs in Walvis Bay. And what's dope about that is people are always importing stuff,
Yeah.
So she was aware that I wanted to jump into real estate, and Stina was importing stuff, I think. And she has bumped into Stina before, or she had bumped into Stina a couple of times. So then I told my mom, please organize a meeting with that lady. Please, just please. She says, okay, cool, nice, it's fine. I know the lady for 22 years or something. She's been my sister type vibe, but nothing close. And it's not like my mom's job has anything to do with real estate. So then we finally ended up in this meeting. It was Stina, Charlie. We had a lunch. I explained exactly what it is that I want to do. I said, hey, please be my mentor also to Charlie and Stina, because I'm just diving into this real estate thing. And I want to become successful, and I understand that they were successful. I joined the company. Well, first I said, be my mentor. They said, what is a mentor? I said, don't worry about it. I told her I'm willing to work from Monday till Sunday. Whether it's Monday till Sunday, give me a call, and then whatever you're paying me, $8,000 to $10,000, I'm ready to take it. Because at DB Audio, even if I had extra hours, the most I'll ever get is about $10,500. And I'm trying to live a soft life. At the end of the day, I'm into music. I used to watch the rappers, so I saw the grills and the chains. I might not want the biggest cars or the grills or the chains, but I did know that I don't want to ever have to worry about money anymore. And 10,000 Namibian dollars a month is still going to keep me worrying about money on a monthly basis. I think it'll make a huge change in many other lives, but I think what I am trying to do, what I want out of life, I need a little bit more than 10,000 Namibian dollars on a monthly basis. So then that's when I started working for her. She said she doesn't need me on Sundays, but every other Saturday I was there. I worked for Stina for a full year. I started as a junior, absolutely nothing. I worked under this gentleman called Tate Chris Shivolo. He's the late Chris Shivolo, actually. He passed away last year or the year before. He actually taught me quite a bit. He wasn't the easiest gentleman. He was quite hectic to deal with sometimes.
Yeah.
But he taught me quite a bit, and I didn't have to work directly. I didn't have to go directly to Stina, but I could sort out some of my issues directly with him first, and then go to Stina, which helped out a lot. So he was mentoring me already, where Stina wasn't necessarily. As I grew, though, because it was 1 year, so within 3 months, I understood everything that I had to do. So then after that, I was finally a housing development manager of some sort. Now I know what's going on. I'm managing the housing. Within about 6 months, 6 months after the 3 months, so within 9 months, I was the head of housing, then the property manager. So I was responsible for all of the malls. That's the Rundu Mall and the Galaxy Rundu Mall.
Nice.
There's a mall in Oshakati. It's been some time. Etango Mall. And then they had Fujian City, that's here in Windhoek as well. So those properties needed to be managed. So I'd look over the rent rolls. I'd make sure that what the real estate agents are saying, because now I have to work with real estate agents. I had to work with banks. So I work with those properties, and on top of that, I was also in charge of the housing. So while they're building the housing, these are like 60 houses at a time for phase one, 62 houses for phase one in Rundu Kaisosi, and then another 58 houses at the same time for Oshakati Ehenye, and then maybe about 60 houses for Ekuku. So they're about a kilometer apart, those two developments. And then Karibib has about 30 houses in development. It's in a rocky terrain, also empty space. So you can imagine the houses weren't selling as fast.
Yeah.
Hint, hint, Rundu was selling like a mother effer. So Rundu was selling quite well. And so
what was the structure there? You got a percentage of the houses?
No, I mean, I wish.
It was just a fixed salary.
Yeah, it was a fixed salary. I think in those cases, any other aspiring real estate agent should keep in mind that if you are going to go and work for a property developer like that, you should probably opt for an agreement like that.
Okay.
But because of where I was at the time, I didn't have any leverage. I sold 10 houses before, 15 houses, so I couldn't necessarily I couldn't challenge and say, hey, I want 2% per house I sell.
Yeah.
Or anything like that. We had real estate agents on the ground who now in Rundu, in Karibib, and in Oshakati that I would be responsible for contacting. And then I would be responsible for contacting the banks to make sure they're pushing the contracts through to the company so that we're able to speak to the clients. I have to speak to the clients directly sometimes too, because now they have issues with the bank stuff. I have to identify which house is closest to being sold throughout this entire process of pre-approval, approval, speaking to the bank, and then first phase, and then making sure that the plot is sold, and then once the house is sold, then I'm also doing that type of stuff.
Sure.
So
okay,
yeah.
So you were really deep into the housing thing. So sound, then housing, then how does that jump happen to tech all of a sudden?
Okay, so when I was busy working in the real estate industry, it was really, really boring. It was boring. I think the most interesting part about it is speaking to individuals and maybe seeing the houses that you're building. But I mean, it was mass housing, so I'm not looking at mansions or anything.
Yeah.
I'm looking at 2-3 bedroom cribs that are pretty decent, modest house. But like again, I said, I'm dreaming big. Yeah. So it's nothing that's impressing me, it's just a job. I'm looking at 60 houses at a time. So because of the lovely time we're living in now, you're seeing all of these things on the internet. Actually, like even when I was studying sound engineering, after year 2, the school counselor kept on fighting me. She was forcing me to stay at the school because I wanted to drop out so badly. I started understanding that YouTube is over there and you have access to so much. So I didn't feel the need to pay for the final year anymore. I just wanted to take that money and actually start doing what I need to do on the ground.
Yeah.
Reasons why I decided to continue doing it was because I still needed the experience. I need that certificate. I have to bring it back to my mom. So transitioning from sound, DB audio to real estate allowed me to see that how come we're using so much technology when it comes to the sound industry, these monitors and the scaffolding and the lighting and us connecting the lighting programming to what's happening on the computer. All of this stuff is happening, but none of that innovation is happening within the real estate industry, right? So that was a little bit of an issue to me. So I'd always try to approach with these types of solutions. And when I'm in a real estate company, then we would have to source the software or whatever sort of service we need from another company.
Yeah.
And that is where I started seeing the fun You
I
see,
see.
the
I see.
fun was in the tech. The fun was that's where the growth is at. That's where I see some sort of potential. When you speak Amazon, whatever Elon Musk is doing, or whatever Jeff Bezos is doing, even when you like consider fashion or crypto was busy booming at the time, as well as NFTs. Thinking about all of these things, and it just sort of popped up in my head that yeah, there's a element of technology that we're able to apply to almost every industry within Namibia, and I think there's a lack of digital infrastructure in Namibia. So that is an opportunity. The problem was finding exactly what.
What to do
What
exactly?
are you gonna do
Yeah.
in technology? So then, first things first, obviously, it's real estate that you try. Real estate requires a high investment if you really want to jump into that industry. Either you need a good amount of partners so that they're able to invest with you, or you need leverage so you're able to get to some sort of loan. But I understood that I will need money in my pocket if I want to dive like really into this real estate game and make the money from that real estate game. I would need to have my own cash first. That's just how I saw it. I was like, I need to be a boss if I want to jump into this industry because I don't want to be the real estate agent anymore.
Yeah.
I want to be the developer now. And when I'm developing, I don't want to develop normal buildings. I want to use the most renewable materials, be it bamboo or whatever. The whole building needs to be using renewable energies, and of course the ventilation and all sorts of practices, and making sure that whatever we're building, we're looking to build for long-term sustainability. For some reason, I just cared about the world. People would also ask me in those years of mine, like, what do you want to do? I just want to make people's lives better. I just want to change something. And they think you're being like cliche or cheesy. But to tell you the truth, that stuff is what matters, and that's why it is cliche and cheesy, but it actually did matter. So transitioning from real estate to tech, while I was in the real estate business, the general manager of that company, Jiang, him and I became friends. See, I would go to work, but my aim is not to make money and just wait for end of the month to go and spend the cash.
Yeah.
I'm there in that area. I'm working with Chinese folks now. These guys are coming from a place where there's millions. And all of these guys are educated and they're all competing with each other. Of course, they don't have the biggest population of young adults, but the competition is still crazy that side. There's a lot of people there. Okay, so I identified Jiang, the general manager, and I started diving into his head and understanding exactly what makes him tick. How does he think? What does he think of the industry, the Namibian ecosystem, or the business environment of it? What has he been doing? I'll go over to his place. We would have, the Chinese community, they really like hot pots.
Yeah.
So he'd like the hot pot food. I'll bring over food of my own sometimes. He liked gin and vodka. I do all of these things, stakeholder engagement, relationship building.
Yeah.
I do all of these things with Jiang, and I was actually building a genuine friendship with him, and then he left to China. Right? So he left to China, but we were still in communication. And then I'd hear people talking about, you must just import what from China, brah. Yeah, even those cell phone covers, they are just cheap, brah. And then I started thinking, man, Jiang is that side, brah. So I started asking the guy, brah, how can we now do something between a China and a Namibia? The first thing we came up with was actually, we need to somehow jump into the agricultural space.
Yeah.
That's very interesting. I'll put a pin in that for now. Yeah. But the first thing we said was, we need to improve lives by jumping into the agricultural space somehow. We need to improve the food, the nutritional value, or how do we increase the production of food within Namibia so we're not spending that much on food within Namibia. He understood that as a Chinese foreigner, or as an expat here in Namibia. He understood that, and him relaying that to me was like, okay, cool, dope, because you probably have an outside perspective to what's going on here. So Tololi, we founded Tololi, and not based on the agricultural platform, just based on the fact that he's in China and he can send covers to me for about $50, and I can sell them for 150, like everyone else was doing. But I wasn't keeping it to myself, and I wasn't importing only for myself. I opened up an Instagram page and I said, yo, if anyone here in Namibia is looking to import something, import it through Tololi. And that was the birth of Tololi. That was July 2019.
I see. Okay, so right now, Tololi is actually like an online market platform, right? It's like a website, right?
Yeah.
So at that point, you're saying it was just an Instagram page, and then you have the connection, someone that's sending you the stuff, and people that wants to order, they text you on your number.
They would slide into the DMs.
And then
they send a picture of what they're looking for. I send them how much it's going to cost. They send me the money, not a deposit. I just want the full amount. Send me your money. I would send it to Jing. Or Jing, as soon as the money is sent to me, Jing would purchase something in China from Shanghai or whatever other area he can import from. You have to understand, like shipping and that type of thing, it's very cheap in China. Nice. So he's sitting at his home, he's importing something that would come, let's say, from here, comparable to, let's say, it's coming from Rundu.
Yeah.
Then he'd import, or he'd bring it from that different city to his house, $20 extra. That's how it costs. I'll give you an example. When I was in China, I dropped my phone on its face, right? My iPhone on its face. And we went to the shop. I spent about 350 Namibian dollars to fix my iPhone
like
screen.
The screen?
Yes, at the time they were charging me 2,200 or 1,500.
Like here it's like buying a new phone. Yep. You have to fix the screen.
Over there it was 350 bucks. That was mind blowing. So that's just an example of like the comparison of what they're charging in China versus here. But now the prices also increase, of course, because of import duties, tax, all of these things that I also started understanding. So yeah, initially it started off as an Instagram page where people would just send me requests. I'm looking for X, Y, and Z, get it for me. We get a picture and say you're bringing it. And then, of course, I'll keep the customers informed as we're bringing stuff in, right? So send me your cash and your request. I make sure it's that side. We import. I deliver directly to your door within about 2 weeks to a month max. This was July 2019.
Yeah.
Okay, we push. October 2019, our partner in China is telling us, yo guys, there's a flu happening here in China.
COVID.
Guy told us nicely, yo guys, there's a flu happening here in China. And some companies are closing down. I don't really know what is going on yet. Because China is saying it's under control or something like that. I'm really paraphrasing right now. But I don't know how this is going to affect the Tololi business. This is what my partner is telling me.
At this point,
paraphrasing.
What was the revenue? Was it actually?
I mean, this is just starting on the Instagram business. I'm making now 10,000 Namibian dollars. Now we're at 10,000. Nice. I even told my mom that was December. Okay, so December of. So maybe we would have been making about 8,000 Namibian dollars revenue at that time. Because December of 2019, we were about 10,000 Namibian dollars we're pushing per month through Instagram. Okay, so that was decent. It was okay, and there was some hope because it's like, yo, I started this thing with like what, $300. We bought. Jing sent me. I sent Jing money. Jing sent me weaves, and random stuff to test out, weaves and wigs and stuff, but girls are not buying that. I think only one of the products caught on, but we'll get there. Now, December comes, by that time we're making 10 bands. He tells us there's a flu, don't know what's going on. December comes, he sends us a map. Now there's a map created for this flu. So now we're seeing how this flu is spreading across China, and we're like, something is going to happen. But we still don't know. It's the first time that COVID is happening. We don't know about masks. We don't know about social distancing. We don't know that oxygen tanks are going to be required. We could have made so much cash during that period if we were thinking. If I had the experience, because we got the information in October, I could have been importing masks that time already. If only. But that time, I mean, the whole team was still inexperienced. Not inexperienced per se, but we didn't have enough or the relevant experience required for us to make the right move in that moment as a business that imports.
Did you have a team at this point, or was it just
at this point? Yeah, I had 2 guys who were helping me. So it was Jing in China, myself, and then it was Hugo and Lashka. So Hugo at the time was doing more operation stuff, and Lashka was doing more the IT type stuff. So there was a team growing, and at that time, since it was still beginning, like I said, equity style. So I offered Hugo 10%. And then I offered Lashka about 10% as well. But those were vetted shares. And how vetted shares work is, as you complete the different years, complete year 1, you secure 2.5%, say if you have 10%. So finish year 1, you secure 2.5%, finish your year 2, you secure another 2.5%, finish year 3, another 2.5, that's 7.5, and then finish year 4, that's 10%. That way you know that as you're onboarding, as you're now partnering with this guy, he's not just going to take the shares and be like, I'm putting in work also. Less than a year later, the guy's like, I'm bouncing, I'm keeping my shares. No, you don't keep your shares. You only keep them if you completed that year. And whatever year you completed, you keep your 2.5%. So that's how we worked at the time.
on this point, it's like working with teams, especially if you're like a new company, is usually an issue because it's like, okay, like you say, shares. Obviously, that's the only thing you have to offer. It's like, okay, this is how much money we expect him to make. We split it up like this. But now those shares, is it on the company or is it on the amount of revenue that comes in? Like, okay, were you still like the main owner? Like if you say,
Yeah.
okay, you guys can dip, it's fine. Did you have that
So,
power? Is it like on the revenue? Is it like on the company itself?
so at the time, revenue didn't really matter that time. Revenue didn't matter. Like, I mean, when you're setting up the company, like, I mean, $10,000, if we're going to worry about revenue, I think what really mattered was when we get expenses, you need to cover for those expenses as per shareholding.
Yeah.
So if you have 50% of the company, you're covering for 50% of the expenses. What I did was, when we started the company, I only started with about 24%. Well, I only reserved 24% for myself, 10% for Jiying, 10% for Yugo, 10% for Lashka. And then the rest we reserved as an employee stock option program. So this is exactly what I was explaining to you about the vetted shares. So since we have about 40% or something remaining as
Yeah.
ESOP, that means that any other new employees that I want to hire, they're able to take from that
From that
shareholding
40%.
and be able to continue working with us. Now, that shareholding is for future employees as well as future investors. So already when we started, I knew, okay, 24% is what I want to hold by the end of it. I'm holding the rest of the shareholding, but 24% is what I want to hold by the end of this journey. And so I'll sell off some shares here, and there. I'll hold on to my 24%. And when I really need to exit this company, I'll maybe leave 5% of shareholding, because 1% could hold 4,000 shares and upwards.
Yeah.
So it's just about your strategy.
So at this point, you still own 24% of the company.
At this point, right now, as we speak, the only investors are the Namibia Business Angels Network. There are 3 investors. One owns 4, one owns 4, the other owns 2%. 2 are natural persons, one is a company, financial institution, and 2 individuals with both master's degrees. So like, it's really nice to have these investors because they also have like experience. Besides that, we have Jing with his 10%, my cousin 5%, because there's that round before you start before you start approaching investors, you have this investment round called Friends, Family, and Fools. So these are the only fools that are going to now invest in your business while it's still at the stage. My cousin, luckily, she was a wise fool because she invested, at the time, she gave us 20,000 Namibian dollars for 5%. And this was 3 months before Namibia Business Angels Network invested 250,000 for 10%. So you understand what happened to her 5% there. She turned 20,000 to 125,000 in less than 2 months. So that's right. Currently, right now, I hold the remaining shareholding, 24% plus what's remaining. I think I hold about 70 something percent now, or 60 something percent in my own shareholding when it comes to Tololi. But shareholding for me is not important because right now shareholding is just a way to strategize. Shareholding is a strategizing tool. When you dive into like how a trust works and how the PTY works and how a CC works, it's just really about how you want to position your different types of companies for your best interest, right? And for the interest of your company. So right now, we created a new entity called Didact Digital Technologies. So Tololi is a product of Didact Digital, but Didact Digital Technologies is a CC. Because a CC can purchase shares from a PTY Limited. And Tololi is a PTY Limited. So what I would essentially do is I would move my shareholding from Tololi into my CC. But if I choose to move my shareholding into my CC, will it be Didact Digital? Because if I move the shareholding from Tololi PTY to, if I purchase the shareholding of Tololi Pty Limited with Didact Digital Technology CC, that means that Didact Digital Technology CC is now a full 100% company that owns now 40% of Tololi. So I've got 40% of the assets there as Didact Digital Technologies. But on top of that, I'll also be able to offer now ESOP to these guys for Didact Digital Technologies, and they'll be able to have a taste of what's happening with Tololi. On top of that, I'll take all of these assets now, then I'll throw them into a trust fund, so then into a trust account, so that trust that's funded by these assets. So then I'm able to use my trust account as an asset, not necessarily as an asset, but as a security. So then that's your family bank account. So because now you'll have your house there, your businesses, your cars, and all of these things in that unit trust. You want to go and start a business, that trust is holding maybe 10 M's now of family funds. Like your stuff is there, your sons, your wives, you know, all of your businesses, the assets are all over there. So now you go and use that. Now you have 10 million at your disposal with all of your life insurances, because you can throw life insurance into your trust account as well. Fund that account so that you have a lot of cash at your disposal. You'll have access to it, as well as all of your trustees and the beneficiaries. How you set up the legal terms around that trust account is up to you. So yeah, basically the point behind that is just BIPA is over there for intellectual property and whatnot. But there's different types of companies for different reasons. Us now, we must just look at, what type of company am I going for, and why am I? And us maneuver this BIPA situation. So it's all up to us really, and understand.
I want to connect the dots. So we have your story so far, because at this point it's still an Instagram page, basically.
Okay.
So now, how did you? Okay, can you describe how it looks like today? Basically,
all right.
How did you get there?
Okay, cool. So what it is now? Okay, we'll get there. Okay, let's start here. Instagram store, Shopify. 2020 March.
Still on Instagram, basically.
2020 March, we launched a Shopify store now. So it's not on Instagram. It's on Instagram still, but now we're taking orders through a Shopify platform. It's like you download it, you're able to load your products on there. Shopify.com, you can go try it. So you're able to load products there. You pay per month, 500 and something per month. People are able to pay you via e-wallet and these interesting things. But Shopify, it's like it's what do they call it? Content management service. So basically, they will give you a template. You download, you pay for a template, an e-commerce template. You are able to load your products. You can put a nice looking banner on the top. But no, it's not really tech. It's just content management. Then you're able to sell your product. So basically, instead of it being on Instagram, now it's on a website.
So basically, you set up a page, they would give you a link. People can use that link.
Yeah, so we set up the Instagram page. Now we have tololishop.com as a domain. But tololishop.com, it's the content management service responsible for it is Shopify. So Shopify just makes it easier for us to create a website.
I see.
Simply said.
And how do people pay? Do they pay?
So then at that time, they still paid either via EFT. So we put our EFT details there once you check out. Or they paid via e-wallet and pay to sell. I just didn't like Standard Bank's Blue Wallet because people could reverse those. And NetBank's, what's it? Pay with whatever. I didn't like those ones. But and also it was difficult for us to have payment gateways on the Shopify platform because Pay Today or NetBank's Pay with Pay Today really works better with like WordPress and those types of functions. You can go try DPO to connect it to your Shopify, but that one will be a hassle. That one will be a difficulty. So Shopify had a lot of headaches. So then March 2020, that's what we were. Shopify, that's the demo online store. It's just operating as an online shop. You load your shandies, you indicate inventory, people can buy from there. When they order from there, we're still using the same model of importing. But this is March 2020. So 2 days after we launched that website, lockdown happened. COVID. This wasn't a bad thing for us because now everyone is online. 5 Minute Finesse by DJ Dreas is now going on. I made music, so I was able to throw some free verses there. But at this time, I'm in Walvis Bay because I left, during this time. This is the real stuff that entrepreneurs need to hear, actually. So during this time, during lockdown, I was in Walvis, and the reason for that was I left my job with Stina, remember, so I don't have any other job. I had to go back to my family's house in Walvis Bay, to my mom's house, so I can go and sleep there on the couch, or actually, no, in my mother's house, I sleep on a bed. But when I moved, I'll explain, but when I was in Walvis Bay there, that's when I was pushing out, wake up 6 o'clock in the morning, so I'm able to respond.
So this is your full-time thing?
It's full-time, bro. 6 o'clock in the morning, I'm responding to all of the DMs and these things. I have to stay up until 12 o'clock in the evening for 5 Minute Finesse because we're sponsoring it. And then I'm busy pushing Tololi there because I know that's where everyone is. 5 Minute Finesse had 1,000 people in the live room at once before. So that's what everyone is talking about on Twitter, on Instagram, and all of that stuff. And